What's up, guys? Chris here with Rooted. I'm so excited to talk to you today about some ear training and to really get into it. Last week, if you remember, I was talking about chord charts and how to really understand those and what they're telling you. I kind of gave you a hint that we'd be getting at this week. And so I'm so pumped to be able to get into this with you and just share with you some of the most massive benefits that ear training can provide you and teach you how to begin doing that. In the next several weeks, what I want to do is take you on a little journey and kind of show you how to really get started ear training and developing your ear to be trained to be able to listen to a song and just immediately know what chords you're playing. So just imagine you're riding in the car for a second and your favorite song, maybe you don't even know how to play it yet, comes on the radio, or a song that you haven't heard before, but you really like it, comes on the radio, and you're like, man, it'd be so cool to be able to play that song and just to know what chords are being played so I could go home and kind of have at it. You can do that. That is totally possible for you. And it just comes in a sequence of steps. All you have to do is keep putting these pieces in training, kind of keep working on things. But you can totally do that. How amazing would it be just to hear that song once, be able to go home and immediately start playing it on the piano or guitar or whatever the case may be. I mean, that would be incredible, right? You totally can do that. You have the power and the ability to do that. It's just about knowing how to train yourself to do that. That's what I want to help you do today. Ear training and the ability to hear a song, just like I described on the radio, or maybe on your iPod or on your phone and Spotify, whatever you're using to listen to music, and immediately know what chords are being played. That's helped me so much in my journey as a musician. Some of you may know that I played with some different artists growing up, and definitely in my early to mid-20s. And one of the artists that I kind of played with on and off was Chris Tomlin. And those were really kind of funny story a couple years back, but it really kind of just shows the need for this and how I really used my ear training to benefit me in kind of situations where I had to be really flexible. So about 2 or 3 years ago, Passion Conference was coming up, and at that point in time, it was happening on a weekend, and I think Passion was going to 3 different cities. I think they were between Houston and Atlanta and somewhere in Duluth or Gwinnett. They were at kind of 3 different arenas. So every band that was playing for the conference was kind of moving around a little bit. It was a really, really cool experience. But I was just at home that weekend. The first day of the conference hadn't happened yet, and I was at home that Saturday night of the day one. And I was kind of hanging out with my family. Saturdays are usually really chill around the house. We have 3 little kids, and so we try to just like block off the day and do whatever we can just to be with them and show them a good time on their Saturday. So what I was doing currently, it was about 5 o'clock, and what I was doing currently was I was going down to get laundry and bring up the clean clothes. And so I was down there at the dryer, and the keyboard player, the keys player for Tomlin, called me. And I was like, that's interesting. Matt's calling me. I'll call him back in just a few minutes. I need to just get this stuff up, and I can't really talk right now. So I kind of, silenced the call or whatever. I just sent it to voicemail, and he called again. And so I was like, all right, well, maybe he really just needs something. Like, I'd love to see him this weekend and hang out with the guys at some point. So I'll just give him a call back and see what he's see what's going on. So he called me a second time, and I picked up that time, and I said, hey man, what's going on? And Matt's like, hey, are you like, how close do you live to Infinite Energy Arena? Like, are you close to the arena, or you live far? And I was like, I mean, I'm probably like 45 minutes away. Like, what's going on? And he's like, well, our bass player had a situation come up, and he's not going to be able to play night 1 of the conference, we don't think. And we really wanted to see if you could come play. And I was like, I mean, I'd love to. Like, obviously, like, that'd be incredible. But like, it's 5 o'clock, 5:15 right now, and everything starts at 7. How do we see this kind of playing out a little bit? And not to mention, I was kind of worried about the bass player for Tom, like worried about what was going on with him to make him back out immediately. And we didn't really have a chance to have a lot of conversation around that. And so I was kind of thinking about that, worried about him, but also like, this is my Saturday. I'm trying to be home with my wife and kids and really just want to honor that time. But I said, Matt, let me just go talk to Anna and see what she says. And if she's cool with it, then I'd love to help you out. Like, I'd love to come up and play. And so I went upstairs, brought the laundry up, and was talking to Anna, telling her about the situation. She's like, you got to go. You just got to do it. Just go. Yeah, if they need you, like, you need to help them out. And so I called Matt back. I was like, Matt, I'm good. I'm going to throw some nicer clothes that I was wearing than like gym clothes that I was probably wearing at the time. Like, I'll throw in some nicer clothes. I'll get in the car and I'll get there as fast as I can. And Matt's like, great, I'm going to send you some of the songs that we're doing in the car. Or I'll just send you a Dropbox link and you can just listen to them in the car on the way over. And I was like, great, that'll be awesome. I'll be ready. And so as I got in the car, I kind of noticed on the Dropbox link that they were 3 or 4 songs I really didn't know yet. I had never really heard them before. They were brand new, ones that they were just gonna start playing at Passion. And so I just had to learn them in the car. I had to listen to them on the way over, and I had about 45 minutes. So I had some good time to really just kind of let them run on repeat. But I had to listen to those and learn them in the car. And then by the time I got to the venue, it was about 6:45 or 7, and we were right about to basically walk on stage and go play. So I really didn't have a sound check. I just had to kind of make sure I had my gear with me, and I was all good on that front. But that's about all I could do, and just walk up and start playing the set of a lot of songs that I really didn't even know yet. And so that was a little bit of like a tense situation, right? Like, I had to be very flexible in that situation to say, yeah, throw me some new songs that I've never heard before, and I'd be happy to work on them and try and learn them in the car on the way over, and then go up and play them for tens of thousands of people at the conference, right? Like, that was a very flexible thing to be able to offer to them to be able to do. And the whole reason that I was able to do that was because of my ear training, was because I knew that if I was able to listen to a song, that most likely I could learn it in the car on the way over, and I could memorize it in my head using the Nashville number system, and using the ear training that I had done years earlier and just compiled over the course of my life, and be able to walk on stage and feel pretty confident to play. Now, when I did walk on stage, I was really nervous, and I definitely had those nerves there, and I wasn't like I was just going out ripping a bunch of bass, extra parts like riffs and stuff like that. I was kind of playing it pretty close to the chest because I didn't want to just majorly screw something up for these guys. Like, I wanted to come in and do a good job. But I definitely played pretty conservatively that particular performance. But it did allow me, the ear training is what allowed me to be able to go on stage and feel confident that even though I didn't know these songs maybe an hour ago, like now I do, and I have a good idea of how they're going to progress and how they're going to move throughout the song. And I just have to really be cautious and listen to the band and really just be in the moment and try and really, again, just listen to the guys, listen to Chris, listen to the MD, the music director in the band, and really just do my best to fit in a tight way with the band. And that's the piece that ear training provided me. It allowed me to get a call on Saturday night and 2 hours later be at Infinite Arena playing with Chris Tomlin and playing for Passion Conference some songs I had never heard before. And that's an amazing thing, right? Like, that's not going to happen to everybody, and it's something I really never intended to happen to me either. But it's something that's totally possible. It's a scenario, maybe not that specific one, but that scenario is something that's totally possible to happen to you down the road in your musical journey. You get a call last minute, and these guys want you to come play with their band. They're like, hey, I'm sorry, like, it's really late notice, but can you come play? Can you come learn these songs in just a little bit of time and be ready to play? What I want to challenge you to do is to get to the point in your ear training where you can say yes to those opportunities, because they will come up. The more that you're in bands, the more that you're around musicians at a church. I mean, goodness, it happens all the time. Saturday, churches need musicians, so they might be calling on you saying, hey, can you come play with us Sunday morning? And you don't know 3 out of the 4 songs that you need to play. This would come in so huge for you if you had the ability to listen to some songs, to learn them in the car on the way over, or sit down and just listen to them that night before you go to sleep and really kind of get in your mind and in your memory a layout of the song, right? That'd be incredible if you could have that opportunity to be that flexible and to provide that need, because really what you're doing is you're providing a need for somebody else. Somebody is in a desperate situation and they really need you to come through for them. And if you can be that flexible and provide that kind of need for somebody, that's an amazing opportunity. That's an amazing experience to be a part of. Being with Chris and his guys that weekend was so fun and so awesome, because I did feel like I was fitting a need and filling a need for those guys when they really needed it most. They didn't really have anybody else that they were able to go to at the time, so I was able to step in and fill that role for the weekend, and it was great. It was an awesome experience. And so that's what I want to really do for you. I want to give you the steps and the necessary foundational tools to be able to start doing that. And I get so excited about this stuff because it's so practical. Like I just mentioned, it can happen all the time. The more that you're in the mix of some different bands and churches and musicians and things like that, it will start to happen. And to be able to say yes to those opportunities again will be incredible. So how do we get to this point, right? How do you get to the point where you can listen to a song, immediately know what chords are being played, and then even translate that to your instrument, whether or not it's piano or guitar, whatever? Like, how do we translate all that information and actually play it? So it's kind of like a multi-layered approach, and there definitely is several steps, and they all take some time. I mean, when I was younger growing up, I remember spending hours just listening to different songs that were sometimes easy, sometimes hard, and just trying to make a song chart like right then as I was hearing the chords down, so that I could kind of train my ear to do it right. And then afterwards I would kind of get on my instrument and play along with the song and make sure I had the chords right, and just see where I was wrong, notice some of the tendencies in music. That's another big area that we'll talk about later. But just really just train my ear and develop the ability to do this. It just definitely takes work, it takes time. But these principles, these foundations that I want to give to you today and in the next few weeks are what really can help you know what to practice. Because if you've never done it before, you don't know really what you need to do and how you need to go about it. But if you know what to practice, then you can practice it and you can start developing. So, step one, it sounds really simple and you're probably going to hate doing this. But step one is I want you to hum and be able to hum any major scale, whatever major scale you feel like fits your voice best or whatever. But I want you to be able to hum a major scale without any accompaniment, basically from another instrument. So if I was to do this on a guitar and I wanted to hum along with the G major scale, so G is on the top string, 3rd fret, and the G major scale pattern goes like that, okay? So what I would basically do is I would play that pattern a few times over and over, kind of really let it get in my head and feel like I can start humming along with that, okay? And then I'll start humming with it. Okay, so I can do that with the instrument. That's great. Or if you're more of a pianist, maybe pick the C major scale because it's only white notes. All you got to do is start on a C and then keep walking one note to the right up the piano till you hit another C, and that's the C major scale. You can hum along with that. Whatever scale you feel like fits your voice the best, or that you can actually do on an instrument, I would start with that one and just take some time and just practice humming along with it, because eventually what you want to do is be able to hum without it. And you'll see why this is such a big deal down the road, but just trust me, this is the foundation for being able to hear songs and immediately know what chords is being played, whether it's, hey, that's a 4 chord, or that's a 1 chord, or that's a 6, or that's a 5/7, whatever the case may be. Like, this is the foundation. This is step one to being able to do that. I've taught several students how to do this, and ultimately what happens is our students get to the point where they're self-sufficient. They can start learning a song by ear, by themselves. They know what inversions are being played. They know what melody lines being played, and they know what chords, and they can create a chart on their own without me. And that's the most amazing thing as a teacher, is to be able to get one of your students to the point where they don't need you anymore. Like, that's kind of the goal of every teacher, is to get somebody to the point where then they can just kind of take it and run with it, right? And that's what you will be able to start doing as a result of this series. You'll be able to start putting some of this stuff into practice and really nailing some of this down. But again, step one, it sounds really weird and maybe not like it would really help, but it really makes a massive difference. Being able to hum the different intervals of a major scale is what's going to set you up to be able to listen to any song and immediately know what chords are being played, okay? There's some stuff to it after that, but it really starts here. So once you've been able to hum along with the scale, all the way up and maybe even backwards, then I want you to try the last piece of the puzzle for this particular lesson in this step, and that's humming by yourself the true intervals of the scale. So maybe you give yourself the first degree here, and you'll go do 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 do, and so that should sound like this. And it did, right? They were pretty much identical. Maybe some of my pitches were a little bit off. I'm not an amazing singer. I definitely won't claim that. But the pitches, for the most part, were pretty much spot on, right? And that's what I want you to be able to do. I want you to be able to know your starting pitch. Do, 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 do. and be able to hum a major scale up and down just like that. Because from here, what we're going to learn is the ability to recognize intervals like a 1 to 3, a 1 to 2, a 1 to 5, and so forth, things like that. That's what really allows you to identify the different chords in a song as we keep going through this, okay? So your homework for today is to be able to hum along with a major scale on any instrument, either the guitar, piano, whatever you want to start with, and then ultimately be able to hum without the instrument. Give yourself the starting pitch, and then be able to hum the major scale pitches 1 through 8 by yourself, okay? That's going to set you up really well for the blog that we have next week, which is just going to take what we learned today and take it to the next level, okay? It's going to be really awesome. I'm really excited for this. This stuff just gets me so pumped because it's so practical and it's so useful. The students that I've taught this to, it's really made such a difference in their playing ability and in their musical career already. And they've only been doing it for just a short time. So I hope this made a lot of sense for you. If you have any questions about this stuff, please email me. My email is chris@rootedmusiconline.com, or you can go over to our website, rootedmusiconline.com, and you can access me or any one of our coaches through a messaging service called Drift. We have a little messaging app at the bottom right-hand corner of the website, and if you'll see that pop up, it'll probably say, hey, would you like to get in a free trial with us today or something like that. And you can just totally redirect the conversation. Don't worry about the free trial. Just say, hey, I'm trying this ear training stuff. I'm really trying to make this happen. Here's been my experience with it so far. Or, hey, how did you do that? Like, what should I start on? Or whatever the case may be. But feel free to ask away, ask those questions. And I can't wait just to engage with you on that front and get you started. So I hope you enjoyed today. Get ready for next week. Keep practicing this stuff, and I will see you next week.